Is it running?
I'm going to get in here.
Is it actually running?
It's running. We have,
You want me to double check?
no, the black box. We have a problem with not turning the mic on or not pushing the button, or we film stuff all the time and we have nothing, so.
The little remote is handy.
Okay. Hi, welcome back to the League-Kempner House in Galveston. We've got a big group here and I'm pretty excited about. This is Russ and Sissy and Mandy. And let's let you tell them where you're from and why you're here.
Well, I'm originally from Texas, but live in California now, and we're here in Galveston visiting family. And we thought we'd spend a few hours helping Janie and Joe out with this house. They've got a lot of work to do, and we're willing and excited to be here.
But you have experience. You have your own house.
We have our own old Victorian house built in 1885 in Wheeling, West Virginia, near Center Market area. That we're working on.
It's a long way from California to Wheeling, West Virginia.
It's a long. You got to get around. You got to have some commitment.
But your children.
Yeah, our two daughters live in Wheeling now. Once we bought the house, they were very interested in helping us renovate it. So they're there working, and we're on our way there tomorrow. So
To do some work. So they have experience. They know what it's like to have old house problems, and I really, really appreciate you taking a detour from your trip and coming and working because it's hot today.
And it is Russ's birthday.
Happy birthday. We won't say how old you are. But anyway, y'all have an Instagram account. You
yes,
can
we do.
follow the house.
Tell them about that, Russ.
It's on Instagram. We're at Chaplain House. We have an associated Facebook account, which is at Chaplain House WV, and we're also on TikTok. Also Chaplain House.
So check them out, and we're gonna take a quick tour, and then we're gonna get to work. We have a special project in the basement, following up from all that concrete work we had done this week. So
good.
Go tour.
Good.
Speaking of the concrete work, let me get you caught up on where we are on that project. We left you last with Ricardo and his group doing the floor just in the little bathroom area, but we still had all that big area to do, and there were some problems there. I don't know why the concrete was done the way it was originally in that space, but it was very lumpy. It wasn't anything even close to being level, and it's so high in some places that we would have to pour a 4 or 5 inch floor, and we don't want to do that because the ceiling height is already low. So they brought in this cool laser level and set it up on one side of the room, and it shines a beam across, and so you can see all the high spots. They show up with the green light from the laser on them. So the first step in this room was to actually bring in the big jackhammers and jackhammer out all of these high spots. We want to be able to have about an inch layer of concrete over this entire space. Some areas it's going to be 2 or 3 inches deep, but we certainly didn't want that 5 inches deep to cover all these bumps. So they started jackhammering, took their time, got all that out, and then it had to be cleaned really well to get all those rocks and debris out of there that they chipped off, and to sweep and get all the dust out and get this washed down so that the concrete could actually adhere. So that work went on for, like I said, for quite a while, and then the mixing of the concrete started again. Once again, they had to hand mix everything. It wasn't enough volume to bring in a big truck, so I don't know how many bags of concrete we used. It was a lot. But these poor guys started mixing and using that same laser level to know how high to pour the concrete. So it was an all-day process once again. Wave again. Ricardo, when can I walk on it? Can we walk on it tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. Because of the thickness of the top layer of concrete that we're adding, Ricardo added a wire mesh just to give the concrete some more strength and to help keep it from cracking. The laser level stayed on the whole time they were pouring this top layer. It allowed them to know exactly where to smooth this concrete out to and get everything perfectly level and flat. Normally they'll do it with a big long level, and that's worked for centuries, obviously, but the laser level is just such a neat device. I love looking at it on the bottoms of the shoes and the brooms and every little thing. You could see exactly where that line was supposed to be. I may have to buy one of those. I'm not sure what I'd use it for, but it was pretty neat. Spent all day weeding, but I forgot to take a before picture. I'm bad about that. I've almost got this one done. But Ricardo just finished the other side of the planter. And he's cleaned it out, so I'm going to go plant some flowers. I have two different kinds. These are vinca. They're very hardy. They'll develop a really long central root to go down and seek out water. And some colors do better than others, so I'm going to put a mix. I wanted some purple and the lilac, but they didn't have any, so I may leave room to come back and intersperse some of those. This is kind of exciting. I probably need to lay them out a little better than that. And they will get very bushy and full. I was quite pleased with how the planter turned out, and with flowers in it, I think it's going to be really a nice touch to the house as we work so hard to get the outside cleaned up. But done with my project, I went back to the chauffeur's quarters to check and see how the final finishing of the floor was going. These guys did a wonderful job. I think I told you in the last video, we're not putting any kind of flooring down. This area could flood, so the less finishing we do down there, the better. We're just going to stain this concrete. So we need a pretty smooth finish so that it will look nice when it's stained. It's a good thing this cures so quickly, because it was the very next day that Mandy, Russ, and Sissy were coming to help work, and this is the area that we had planned for them to do some work in. Getting this area finished is really critical for us because eventually it will be income producing, so there's a lot of work still to do. Mandy and Sissy each tackled a window and started scraping. I had all kinds of different scraping implements collected together, and Russ started working on the ceiling because he's taller and didn't mind working overhead. But before he got up on the ladder and started working, he gave me a few video pointers.
That's an iPhone. Then you use one button. If
Photo.
it's the other one,
Oh, to
it'll turn on
Android.
recording or photo, whatever your phone is set for.
Okay. I think I have one of those.
So,
that
did you
came
turn
with
it on
my
already
tripod.
though?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Well, let me double check. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I find these handy because when I'm on the ladder and I realize I didn't start filming.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to turn this down a second. It'll. Just so it won't copyright me. Facebook's funny. Okay, so what were you looking at?
So what I was looking at is these, right here, there's a metal, looks like a bolt or something that is holding something up. I mean, you can tell that the plaster is delaminating, like right here, if
Yes.
you knock on that.
Well, you can see, look at all the water here, and
Yeah.
this is some kind of timber, and then metal,
Right?
and there was a water leak above here.
Pipe or a conduit there.
So one thing we're gonna do, I don't want to jackhammer into this and cause a mess. So we're gonna set a post here since we're furring this out,
Uh-huh.
and put a beam across here to have some extra support
Oh, really?
on the ends of that.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know what's
Some
going
of
on.
this-
But those bolts, like over here, they had a couple of big ones, and I was told they worked on car engines in here, that they suspended a car engine from that.
So they put bolts up in there? That's possible because there may be big beams up there.
Yeah,
But
but I don't know how they would have known where to find it.
most of this is good, but I noticed a spot here.
You can hear it. Yeah, I tap around my house all the time. That's if you tap in the kitchen, you hear the hollowness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
So we might have to take a layer of that off.
we have to chunk some out, but other than that, but these were interesting because there is some sort of metal bolt, and of course, it rusted, and then the plaster around it disintegrates and spalls like. Mostly it's in good shape. I guess this paint's not that old.
Yeah, well, this was built in 1920, and I don't think it ever had the leak, other than the one leak here. I think this has always stayed pretty dry.
This is like, latex, right? This
Yeah, it is, but we're gonna fur this wall out, so it's gonna be straight over here. Of course, that's why it's coming off easy, because it's
Well,
wet.
yeah, the more you can get off, the better the plaster can breathe.
I'm gonna come to the easy corner.
Yeah, I was also going to do that up there.
Start where it's easy, it makes me
I
feel
wonder
good.
what happens here.
I don't know, you can tell they've shoved sheetrock mud up there.
Yeah,
And they cut a hole
a joint
here.
compound.
You can see the construction. This is terracotta
Uh-huh.
block, like blocking the
yeah.
beam.
And here's a satisfying one. Then you can just do this, right?
I had a rent house. I pulled out a whole wall of latex paint came down one time. I don't know what kind it was, but it was awful.
Russ, Sissy, Mandy, and I visited while we scraped, but the sound of the scraping overpowered the microphone. So I'll tell you a little bit about their story. Sissy is originally from Texas, but Russ is from Pasadena, California, where they live now in a house Russ's grandmother built in 1949 that was then passed to Russ's dad and then purchased by Russ and Sissy. I was curious how, if they live in California, how did they end up with a restoration project in West Virginia? I think I'm nuts to drive almost 60 miles one way to come work on this house. I can't imagine flying across the entire continental United States to work on one. It turns out that Russ's family has roots in West Virginia that go back generations, and Russ spent summers there as a boy, so he's very familiar with the area and has fond memories. After visiting in late March 2021, they got a wild hair and bought a house in Wheeling, where his ancestors settled when they immigrated from Scotland. The Italianate Victorian townhouse was built in the 1880s. It has 3 stories and 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Their 2 daughters moved to Wheeling and have been helping with the restoration when their jobs allow. They've got big plans to restore the house to its former glory and turn it into a bed and breakfast. The house needs a lot of work, but they're up for the challenge. They post regularly on Facebook and Instagram, so I'll put the links in the description to this video so you can check out the house. But to give you an idea, I've grabbed a few photos of the house for you to see.
I think these are a nice option compared to what we have at our house. We have shutters on the basement doors that are really old, and you have to go out. You have to unblock them from the front, then go outside and open them up, kind of to get any light into the basement, natural light.
Are they security or for
Yeah,
weather?
it's security. It's bolted like from the inside, but this would be a nicer option. There's a door right there, so you don't have to have them open, I don't think, but it'd be nicer just to have daylight all the time.
Yeah,
when you walk
I think
down
these, just the style of them look like maybe 40s.
Maybe so, 40s.
But there's a lot of decorative iron down here, and they don't look like traditional just burglar bars, so we'll keep them
they
for
have
security.
some design to them.
Yeah, but they need to come off and be sandblasted and powder coated. But they're not. The reason I think they're newer is they're not super rusted, which down here things just don't last on the outside.
How are they
that
painted
long.
them? Sort of preserved them.
I don't know, but we can, if we sandblast them, we can have them powder coated so they'll last a little longer. Then I'll have to pick a color.
Black is always nice.
Black is always nice.
Black is always nice for wrought iron, I think. But it looks like they were always white. I don't see
But I think they were always white, so I don't know. We'll have to. It'll be a while till we can afford. That's one of those nice to have.
In the
down
meantime,
road.
they're functional.
And functional. I could just take them out and just blow off to clean them up and spray paint them to make them look a little better.
Well, that would be economical.
And then do them, better later.
Yeah.
But yeah, every window has them on the ground.
On the basement floor. Is there other exits out of the basement?
There's this exit, so this apartment has its own exit. Then there's an exit at the front, an exit at the back. And then in the bedrooms, we'll have to make sure that we have a way to open these from the inside.
Right.
There's for fire code to be able to get out. But these don't have to open because there's a door right there.
Yeah.
So I think it'll work.
Okay.
You know you're blessed when someone travels 1,600 miles to help you scrape paint. Every little task that gets done in this house is important because it's all necessary work that must be completed, and every hour spent by a volunteer is an hour less that we have to pay for. It's also fun to be with other crazy people who care about these old houses and have a passion for saving them. Mandy, who was scraping away diligently in the background, generously became the first sponsor of our Victorian fashion show that we're holding in July to raise funds for renovation. You hear negative things about the internet, but it can also be a tremendous asset in creating communities of people you share common interests with. Without this YouTube channel, we never would have connected to so many supporters who will be instrumental in saving this amazing house. So as always, thank you for watching and subscribing to our channel. Every view and donation you make gets us a little closer to our goal. I look forward to seeing you next week here at the League-Kempner House in Galveston. And remember, if you're in the area, check our website. We're opening for tours and we post that schedule each week. Despite the incredible heat, we've had a wonderful turnout so far. We would love for you to see this house in person and look forward to meeting you soon.